The other powers, when he changed, really were against him, because what he was saying, and saying, this week so many persons have been killed, this week so many persons have been tortured, this was made by the national police, by the National Guard, by the army, and they denied that, and that was the truth. They never understood how the church was talking about how the men have the right to organize themselves, to have better salaries, to have a better life, to have a decent house. They didn't understand how the church was preaching about that, and they started the accusations against him immediately.
Yo he recibido en esta semana acusaciones de los dos extremos, de la extrema derecha porque soy comunista y de la extrema izquierda porque ya me estoy haciendo de derecha. Yo no estoy ni de derecha ni de izquierda, estoy tratando de ser fiel a la palabra que el Señor me manda a predicar, al mensaje que no se puede alterar, al que a unos y a otros les dice lo bueno que hacen y las injusticias que cometen.
Y él lo que más temía era que lo fueran a secuestrar y le fueran después a hacer algún lavado de cerebro y hacerlo decir algo que él no lo hubiera dicho. Pero Dios le concedió pues que no fuera así, que no lo secuestraran, aunque él estaba sufriendo bastante por las amenazas, por defender siempre a los pobres. Y precisamente por estar defendiendo a su pueblo, por eso, pues, consiguió la muerte.
In the beginning, we didn't know who had killed him. We tried to investigate. The judge who was in charge of the judgment of that situation, his house was machine gun, and he had to leave the country because he was threatened of death.
Al día, sí, por cierto, ahí está mi hija, ¿no? Me amenazaron a ella tomó la llamada, ¿no? Le decían que cuál era su color favorito. Cuando ella les preguntaba, le decían ellos, es que para pintar el ataúd de tu papá de ese color, pues para que se mire muy bien, ¿verdad?, en el ataúd, porque se va a morir.
If is going to be justice in his case of his murder, I don't think so. Not in this country. Not in this country.
Ambassador White, I just have a couple more questions. Do you see any value in holding accountable in a court of law in the United States those responsible for the killing of Archbishop Romero?
I think it's of great importance. I think it's of great importance, first as an exemplary, as a way of demonstrating what a free democratic society with a strong system of justice can bring about. Secondly, I regard in a sense as in some way something of atonement, because we did collaborate with violence and with death squads.
The reason that the United States can handle this case even though everything happened in El Salvador, is because we have laws that allow us to bring these cases and reflect the idea that human rights abuses, murders of this type, are so egregious that they can be tried in any country in the world.
Normally we'll find places that a person likes to go or people he liked to socialize with. But in the case of Alvaro, he just didn't have that type of a history. There wasn't anyone that I found that knew of any place that he hung out, the things that he liked, the places he liked to go. He would just seem to be kind of just a person that was there. No one knew much about him. I believe that he was aware that there was an investigation going on and that he was a target of that investigation. I don't know if Alvaro felt that he was going to be accused of a war crime or an assassination, but I do believe that he was aware enough that he needed to leave.
When we found out that Saravia hadn't responded to the case, it was obviously disappointing. However, we weren't fully surprised. We thought that was a possibility given the high-profile nature of the case. And because the judge allowed us to have a full hearing, we ended up having essentially a full trial. Amado Antonio Garay was Saravia's personal driver. When Garay testified at our trial in Fresno, he testified to two essential facts: Saravia's involvement in the assassination and then the facts of how the assassination was carried out. And on the day of the assassination, he drove Saravia over to a house. At that house, Saravia went inside and came out with a man, and Saravia ordered Garay to drive the bearded man. And Garay testified that he drove the red Volkswagen in front of the church and that the shooter then shot a priest and that they then met up with Saravia. And it was after that Garay found out that they had that the man had killed Monseñor Romero. This case is analogous to a wrongful death case, essentially. We represent a relative of the Archbishop who is the plaintiff in the case. After 5 days of testimony, the judge said that Saravia was legally responsible for the assassination and that he was issuing an award of $10 million against Saravia in favor of the plaintiff.
Well, to be part of the trial for me it was an honor. It was a moment also of sadness, just to think that to get justice you have to get out of this country. But just the fact that the judge said yes, there is an evidence, and all the testimonies, they do point out that there was a conspiracy to kill Monseñor Romero, and these people were those who did it. That truth to be known, we knew it, but no one had said that openly, publicly. So to have that being said was really some sort of a catharsis also.
The trial ended in early September, and later that fall, I believe in November, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement and the Department of Homeland Security issued an arrest warrant for Saravia and issued this wanted poster, and they have supposedly been investigating his whereabouts, although to this point we still don't know where he is.
There's always that chance that he'll be found. Eventually, someone will make the connection of who he is and what he stands for. I don't think he can hide forever. Of course, he is getting up in years, and he could always die. And under those circumstances, we'd never know what happened. Maybe Alvaro is buried in one of these orchards. There just isn't really any way for anyone to know.